Notts County talk. It's finished. Torquay United 2, Notts County 2. Absolutely devastated after that one. They've gone down to 10 men and somehow they've set the game alight, haven't they? They've seemed to, I don't know, just take the game by both hands and pull it back. I think they've scored in, what was it, like the 7th minute of added time. Absolutely gutted because I thought we'd played really well that game. I said it to Tom, and I'm going to put my neck on the line by even saying this on the channel. I said to Tom in the 85th minute, we've looked really good from set pieces today.
What did I say to you?
And then we concede from one that late in the game. It's cost us 3 points. It's gutting. We're obviously joined by Mitch that you'll have seen on the channel before, but we'll go straight to you, Mitch. How do you feel?
I'm not going to get too disheartened by it personally. Like, for the majority of the game, we were in control again. I said it after the Woking game about we look vulnerable sometimes with a man at the back stick, and there's always a man left at the back stick, and we conceded again from it. The first goal especially, I think it's an area that we need to work on. We were in control for the whole game, so you can't take too much away. The performance was good. We've just been. I can't really. I'm not going to. Like I say, I don't want to be like, oh, it's really, really bad, because it's not. It's just one of them things in football where sometimes you don't get a result that you deserve.
Yeah, I think the thing that was concerning for me, like you've said it, the man on the back post, it's cost us a few times this season. From their first goal, there was 3 men, wasn't there? There's 3 men that were just wide open, ready to receive the ball, and obviously we've conceded a goal from that. But yeah, I do agree. I do feel like for the majority of that game, we were on top. We played really well, created a lot of chances, which we've not seen masses of this season in games that we've played. But I mean, do you think that's going to be good for the players' confidence, performance-wise, or do you think the result's going to sort of strengthen that performance out? I mean,
I'm just about ready to talk after it.
Go on, lad. Go on. You look heartbroken.
I am. That's the worst possible thing, is to concede last minute, and we've conceded last minute against 10 men in a massive game. We talked about how big this game was, not just in the table, but for confidence. Holding on to that would have been unbelievably good for the players. Now, if they'd have conceded last minute against 11 men, it would have been bad enough. But they've conceded last minute against promotion rivals with 10 men from 2-0 up. You can't get much worse. Other than that last set piece, conceding again for a loss, you can't get much worse than that. Very good performance for a majority of the game. But when you're a side that's lost 3 in a row, naturally, no matter what your manager says, you're going to sit back, and that's what we did. We sat back against 10 men. We should be knocking the ball about. You can't coach confidence, and it showed at the end there. It definitely showed, but absolutely good.
I'd love to know what people are saying in the chat. I can't see it at the moment because I'm not on my laptop with me. But
yeah, it's a mixture. Get this one up, even though it wasn't the result we wanted. What a performance! It was a very, very good performance. It was. There's nothing else to say. I mean, it's easy to say how disheartened we are.
It's a different sort of disappointment, though, isn't it? That we've been used to this season. I think there's been some games where we've come away from it, quite a lot of games actually, where we've come away from it thinking we played poorly that game, and we've come away with a result, obviously under Ardley. And of recent, I mean, the last 2 or 3 games, I think performances have been questionable. But today, it was very positive, I thought, and you're sort of feeling uplifted because we were 2-0 up, and you're thinking, geez, we're going to go on and win this. And then that happens again. So it's a different type of disappointment, isn't it? It's not like we played bad and it was poor. We were really good for the majority of that game. But we've just let ourselves down again. And it's something that's just been showing all season. It's been showing all season.
I think everyone's got to remember, like, Torquay are up there, let's be honest. They're not. And I said to you before the game, I could speak to you for a couple of days on George. I said to you about this game. In normal circumstances, would we have accepted a point away from home against Torquay, where they are in the table? No one would have batted an eyelid at it. But because of the situation we're in, where we've dropped out the playoffs and we look a bit shaky, and we can't see out results, or we can't get them goals. We needed 3 points today, and I'm not saying like it's a negative. I'm saying, but as fans, we wanted 3 points today. seeing that game out at 2-1 would have been better for those players than winning it 2-0. Unfortunately, it's just not happened. And I think that's the biggest thing. We've got to learn how to see a game out. Little things like if you're going to clear the ball, clear it into the corner or out far down the pitch you can towards the throwing line, rather than down the centre of the pitch where it's coming straight back at you. And we need to understand how to see games out now. And like I said, that bloke just said that, I can't remember his name. Massive performance, and we're moving into some games now where we look more favourable going into the games just because of the squad that we've got, and we've got to build on the performance.
If you look at it
away from home, build it.
Yeah, if you look at it in black and white, was it an improvement? Yeah, simple as that. It was an improvement. Yes, the win would have been incredible. I am absolutely gutted because it's probably, if it's over the line, I don't know. The linesman's got to be very sure it's over the line. If it is over the line, it's by millimeters. And, I don't want it to come to the end of the season. I know the season's resting on how you perform for the whole season, but I don't want it to come to the end of the season and, we're sort of a couple of points off and it's come down to something like that. And it's the whole season, but you know what I mean? It's so gutting.
Yeah. I mean, it is gutting. That's the only way really to describe it, I feel. I
think we've got to take ourselves out of that, though. And like you just said, we've got to look at what it is. It was an improvement on past performance. So we've got to take ourselves out of we conceded in the last minute. It's heartbreaking for anyone.
Yeah.
They didn't deserve the point, and they know that. And we, like you said, George, we've had times where we've not deserved a point or not deserved 3, but we've had them. And those group of players have experienced that, so they know how it feels on the other end, and now they know this end of the table now as well. I don't want to get too bogged down with we concede in the last minute, and it's really, because it is gutting, but we have to look at what we improved on. And I think we could tell that he's had a week on the training ground, personally, but that's just my opinion.
I think we created a lot more today. Finally, created a little bit. And we've not been seeing that, and it's been awful up front. Yeah, Wharton should have scored again, and I think that will probably reflect in your player ratings after this, George. He should have scored again, no doubt. But he did a little bit more off the ball. I've been saying in the past few weeks, if he doesn't score, he does nothing. Actually, today he did a bit more off the ball. I want to bring in this comment from Tony. What do you make of this one then? So, great performance, was still the weak link. What do you make of that? I think there's opportunity to come out. There is opportunity to be a bit more commanding. Is it a risk put in? Well, I suppose whichever keeper you put in, they're rusty, aren't they? They haven't played first team football. So
I think the one thing that highlighted itself to me was his distribution was as miles off. I thought at one goal kick, I think he nearly hit the camera, like just from a dead ball goal kick. And on later on in the game, he had the ball in his hands and he threw it to Rawlinson, who had 2 Torquay players around him, piled the pressure on him. But I think, like you sort of said, it's match sharpness, isn't it? They're a little bit rusty, Pilling as well. But I think when you look at the level that Steele has played at, I mean, he's obviously a quality player, a quality keeper. So you're obviously going to get a couple of teething issues when a player like that comes in. That you look at, I think the last 4 years, he's played less than 10 games, but he's been at championship clubs. I think who was it? Was it a Greek club, wasn't he? Before that, if my memory doesn't serve me right. But I think that's a bit harsh to say he was the weak link. What do you think, Mitch?
No, I don't think he was the weak link. As fans, we're always going to go, he should have come for it. But if he comes for it and misses it and it goes in, we're going to go, why did he come for it? You can't win. I could never criticise a keeper because I've never been one, and I wouldn't want to be one, because it always leads back to maybe being your error or something. I do agree with his distribution. I think it was the first couple of minutes. I think Reevesy or someone gave him the ball back, and it didn't really have any pressure on him, and he cleared it, and I think it went straight to a Torquay player in the middle of the park, and he didn't get any height or anything on the clearance. It was but it was his first touch at the same time. So I'm not saying he's the weak link. I don't think the goal was his fault personally. I don't think the cross should have come in, or not the cross. I don't know. I don't think you can criticise him too much. I don't think you can put that on him.
No, I agree. I think as well, another obvious talking point was the substitution just after at half time. Lacey's come off and Miller's come on, and by the sounds of things, Lacey's picked up a bit of an injury, which is a concern, isn't it? Especially when you've got 4 centre backs at the club. and you're playing 3 centre backs as your main formation. Do you think that's going to affect us going forward? Obviously, that means Turner's probably going to have to come in, doesn't
I
he?
think we're playing this formation now. This is it. If you've had a week to train, that was your opportunity to change the formation. We're sticking with 5 at the back, 100%. What I will say is Kelly Evans, who criticised me in recent weeks, played really well in that 5. Yeah. Chickson played pretty well. We didn't actually have too much. If we are going to play that formation, we're a bit light on centre backs. Possibly, I hope the injury is not too bad.
Do we know how long McCrory's going to be? I know he keeps saying he's not fit, but does anyone know anything? Because he's another one who can fill in that back.
It is quite long term. I think. I think from what I can make from it, from piecing together what we've been told from literally the start date of his injury, it was a knee injury, wasn't it? He had knee surgery in the summer, and ever since then he just seems to have been in and out of the squad, and then he obviously picked up a long-term injury, because I remember when he initially picked up, they said he was going to be back in January, and you're thinking it's April now, back end of April as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him this season by the sounds of things, which is good, because I've said it throughout the last few months. I think he's going to be crucial when he comes back, but as it stands, it doesn't look like he's going to be coming back.
No. Let's get a few comments in to just show the consensus of what fans are thinking. So we've got, play brilliant, would have accepted this before the game. Yeah, that's what we've been saying. One from Ryan, first time checking out stream, so thank you for joining us, Ryan. Fully agree. Yeah, if you said we go to Torquay and got the draw, the 2 forms of polar opposites, aren't they? Torquay, I think 6 clean sheets in 8, so fully agree with that. I think at this stage of the season, the way not to play, and if we don't have a little bit of positivity after this, we may as well cry, because we've had a couple of weeks now of just dire performances, and it's nice to take the positives. I think we go to Eastleigh, is it? We're away to Eastleigh on Tuesday. There's a bit of revenge there. Didn't play very well against them. Come off the back of this. It all depends. And the way that Rawlinson spoke, I don't know if you saw it, Mitch, on Rawlinson's interview. I'm confident that even though this is a setback mentally, I think the players know they played well. The players will know they played well, and I hope Birchner will reinforce that to them. That look,
I think he will.
You were good.
Yeah, I think he will. I think Mo will as well. They both look like they work quite well as a team. It's quite good to get that insight, I thought, this week into the training session, and you sort of to get a bit more of an understanding of their characteristics as managers. Well, not managers, they're head coaches, aren't they?
Yeah, what about this one from Mick? So not really on what he's saying about coming on the Griffiths, but in general, Enzio not being on and not in the starting lineup again. That's my only worry with this formation. It looks like we're staying with it, but how do you fit him in if he's not a wing back? Because it was a definite 5-3-2 today, wasn't it?
I think you play him alongside Wootton.
You think as a striker?
That's not as a striker. I'm not saying put him in pin the centre backs. That's Wootton's job. I'm saying play him up there to give that support. But we all know what he can do when he gets on the half turn. And if you can play like him or Rodriguez, just play him with Wootton. But he's not. I wouldn't call it. He's not in the 2. He's more just in that 10 role. But I think that if you've got to get him in the team, which I think we have to try and get him in the team, not as a wing back though. I think that's the place to put him, and that's nothing against Jimmy Knowles. I think he works well for us. He rats teams and he ties them out. But I just think Enzio's got that little bit more quality. I mean, I don't know if you saw the video. That I know it's only training.
Yeah, I saw it.
That's the quality that he's got. He doesn't mind shooting early and getting on the half turn. So if we're going to get him in the team, get him in. I think at the time Griffiths comes on there, I think he brings him on instead of Enzio, just because of the timing, the score. I just think he brings him on just to keep the midfield shape rather than bringing Enzio on and expect him to do something out the ordinary. Personally,
I don't think we play this formation if Carl Roberts is fit though. I don't think we'd see this formation. It could be different. So
yeah, agreed.
There's still a lot of disappointment in the chat. I understand that. I mean, when it went in, George, I know we like chat every game, don't we? You were absolutely heartbroken. I was lost for words, but it was still outside the playoffs, and it's still it's still in our hands. I think with the games in hand, I think it's 4th place we're looking at now because that's kept us the same distance away from Torquay. You know, we're not going to get that 2nd or 3rd spot. Not with 9 games left, 27 to play for.
No, I think. Yeah. Sorry, to sort of go back as well, the point I've already made, it is a different sort of type of disappointment as well, because you sort of feel for the players a little bit. You know, when they put in a performance like that, they put in a shift today. You're sort of gutted for them as well. It's not so much you're gutted about Notts as the club. You're gutted for the players because you could see what they've done today. They've changed the way that they've been playing recently. And they really took it to Torquay. And obviously this season, it shows it's not an easy place to go. And you know, that first half, we literally dominated them from the 1st to the 45th minute. So
yeah, I'm just having a look at the league table now. Top 7: Sutton, Torquay, Hartlepool running away with it. Then you've got the 4 places we're looking at: Stockport, Halifax, Bromley, and Wrexham. We've got games in hand over all of those. 2 games in hand over all of them. We're down to 9th. Eastleigh win against Sutton today. We go down to 10th. What we've been saying is, you know, it's an improved performance, but then there's always 2 ways to look at things. You look on the flip side; it's at the stage of the season now where it's results, isn't it? We've got to get results.
Yeah,
that's my only worry. How long? Because we've had the week, definite improvements within a week's worth of training, 100%. But now we don't get a week's worth of training again, do we? I don't believe.
No.
So, you know, can we make those improvements? Mitch, who would you say in that midfield 3? Who is your man of the match out of those 3 centre mids?
We're talking Jimmy and Reeves and Doyle.
Yeah.
I spoke to George when I saw your team lineup, and I love Jimmy. I think he's brilliant. He's running off the ball's good, but I think fans have got to appreciate what Doyle brings to the team now, because we looked calmer at times. And he just shores it up. Reeves can go forward as much as he wants now, because Doyle's quite happy just to sit there. And I said to you, George, about this 5. Then with Doyle in there, the wing backs can be as high as they want, because he will just sit and he will just protect as much as he can. Out of the 3, I'd probably give it to Doyle, just because I think he improved the midfield tenfold. His passing was better. I'm glad that he'd had his break. I know he got injured, but I was saying just before his injury that I thought he needed a break. He looked tired, and you can see. I don't like saying it about him, but you can see his age starting to catch up with him a little bit. And I thought he looked tired. And you can see he's had that bit of time now to recharge and get himself back in. And it could be massive for these next 9 games, because he won't miss a game. Unless he gets injured again, touch wood, he won't miss a game now. He'll probably play 90 minutes of these 9 games that we've got left.
We said last night, didn't we, George? Yeah, fair point. We said last night he's the kind of player that when he comes back in after an absence, he'll be desperate to prove himself. And we did see that today. You know, if any player is going to come back in after not being there and want to prove a point, it's going to be Doyle, isn't it? So yeah, I'd probably agree with that. But all 3 decent, and my standout probably Doyle and Jim. I think but it's, you know, I think what we're seeing is
all 3 were really good today, I thought. But
yeah, they were.
I do think the reason that is because Doyle, like Mitch says, shores it up a little bit.
He brings balance.
The runs Reeves was doing, we've not really seen why Doyle's not been in there. I remember him. I can't remember what minute the game was, but it was second off. Reeves has run onto like a ball that's rolled out to the edge of the box and had a go. You know, he had a decent effort, nearly went in. But yeah, sorry Tom, go on, I interrupted you.
No, I was just going to say, I think I've already said I think we're going with 5 at the back, and now I think Bertrand has got that set in his head. I think now he's just like tinkering about with the team just to see what happens in front of that 5. We've seen a midfield 2 did not work at all. Whether that was with the absence of Doyle, but the midfield 2 was poor, really poor. Yeah. These 3 could be the answer, and then it's just who, like Mitch says, could have Enzio playing off Wootton or anything like that. But overall, I'm going to say I'm feeling more positive than I was earlier today, even though we conceded last minute. Yeah,
definitely.
100%. I think I do need to go and have a bit of a lie down now, because you know, it's still a last minute goal.
Right, it's the weirdest
mix of emotions.
Do you know what? I mean, we've been saying it all season relentlessly. We need to get first. We need to get first. And when sort of the last couple of weeks, it's been quite apparent we're not going to get first. We've been saying second and third, right? But let's think of it like this as a fans. If we can go to away games it's an extra game that we're going to be able to go to this season if we make playoffs and it's not second or third. So let's try and enjoy that. Yeah, but you got to enjoy what it is, haven't you?
We've got to be positive. We've got to be positive.
You think if we come 4th and 5th, that's us at home, isn't it? For the first leg.
For the first leg, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Imagine that. Another game to be at home for. And then obviously for the second leg, you'd be away. But it's another game that you possibly have to go to. So
yeah, it will be home.
I don't know how it's going to work with away fans or whatever. Hopefully we can go, and I'm not just getting everyone's hopes up here. But
yeah, if it's looking at the minute quite tight. Like we have gained a point. It's looking like when we do play Weymouth at home and fans are allowed back in, it's looking like that could actually be a crucial game. So it's very beneficial that we've got fans in for that. And I believe, if I'm not wrong, I'll just have a quick look. I think the last game of the season might be Bromley away. Again, that's going to be massive for them. Yeah, Bromley have overtaken us now and are 2 points ahead. So yeah, fans in, extra game to watch. George, I'm going with that positivity. Love it. Mitch, thanks for joining us. We were so close to being talking about a win, weren't we? But I'm sure we'll have him on the channel in the very busy running.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Definite improvements, and hopefully we're talking about a win on Tuesday night.